video is going to cover the basics of blood. Typically, when I do this video, I don't use, or when I do this in the classroom, I don't use a PowerPoint. I just draw on the board. So although I've uploaded a PowerPoint slide for this unit in lab, or this chapter in lab, I am not going to reference it. I'm just going to use the space in front of us. So if we look at blood in our test tube sample, and we were to draw out the components of it, we know that about 55% of blood is plasma. And in class, specifically lecture, we learned that plasma has water, it has proteins in it, and dissolved solutes. The other 45% here is composed of formed elements, and that's the focus of this mini lecture. Now, within this 45%, 44% of our formed elements are erythrocytes, or red blood cells for short, and then the remaining 1% belong to our leukocytes and our platelets, which create our buffy layer or buffy coat. So we're actually going to start first with red blood cells. We know that anatomically, red blood cells are not really cells because they lack a nucleus and organelles. Instead, they're circular with a slight little indent in the middle, and they carry hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is important because it allows us to carry respiratory gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. So what we're going to look at, or what we're going to write down, is the function of the red blood cell is to carry respiratory gases. Okay, the thing we're going to jump to next is inside the buffy coat, and those are platelets. Platelets are protein fragments that help with clotting, and they look like this underneath the microscope. Ready? There you go. There's a platelet. Tiny little dot of protein within the blood. And again, this helps with blood clotting. Now, for the remainder of this video, we are going to focus on our leukocytes, or the white blood cells. And our leukocytes are divided into two categories based on how they look underneath the microscope. We have granulocytes, and we have agranulocytes. Granulocytes means that you can see their granules or their organelles underneath the microscope. Agranulocytes means you can't see these organelles underneath the microscope. Now, all of our granulocytes are going to end in "-phil", while all of the agranulocytes will end in the word "-cyte". So I always tell my students, pretend like you have a grandpa Phil. Looking at the first granulocyte, we have a neutrophil. Focusing on the anatomy of a neutrophil, it is a cell that has a very light purple cytoplasm and a multi-lobed nucleus. And in the cytoplasm, you have these small light purple granules. Neutrophils are functionally responsible for phagocytizing bacteria. Okay, our next granulocyte, a eosinophil. Eosinophils get their name because they are attracted to a stain or dye that we use called eosin. Eosin is actually red in color, so eosinophils, their granules look red underneath the microscope. And their nucleus is bilobed. Eosinophils are used to kill parasites, so that's what they attack. Or one of the things they attack, I should say. All right, our last leukocyte is our last granulocyte is a basophil. Basophils anatomically have a bilobed nucleus, but it's really hard to see this nucleus because they have so many dark purple granules in their cytoplasm, and oftentimes it covers the nucleus, obscuring it from view. Basophils are annoying to a lot of us because they secrete a pesky little thing called histamine. Histamines are what cause swelling and severe allergic reactions. So when you have an allergic reaction, a lot of times you take antihistamines to suppress the release of this or the body's reaction to the histamine, and swelling goes down. And then you feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay, moving on to the agranulocytes, we have two of them. The first is a lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are small, about the same size as a red blood cell. They don't have any granules that are visible in the cytoplasm. They have a really big nucleus. This nucleus is so big that you really just end up with this little halo of cytoplasm around it. Lymphocytes do a couple of different things depending on the type that we're looking at, but most students are familiar with them producing antibodies. Sorry that it keeps doing that. Okay, our last agranulocyte is a rather large one, and that's known as a monocyte. Monocytes, as I just mentioned, are pretty large. They don't have any granules in their nucleus that are visible, but they have a kidney bean-shaped nucleus. Monocytes give rise to macrophages, and if you remember back from Unit 1, macrophages are large eating cells. So I like to pretend that this kidney-shaped nucleus here looks like a little Pac-Man that's going to go eat something. Okay, that was a quick review of the formed elements of blood. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, feel free to send them my way.